So I realised that there is one number that I really love in the soul contract system that I haven't really spoken about. And I tend to only talk about the numbers that I have a real resonance with because I either have them in my chart or I work with them a lot with clients. But the 11 2, oof, it's one of my favourite numbers, and I'm going to tell you why. It's not because a lot of people I love have the 11 2s in their charts. It's a very sensitive number. I was going to say another word, but I'll wait for it. It's a very sensitive number to have in your soul contract. If you don't know whether you have it in your soul contract, I put the link below so you can see what numbers that you have in your birth certificate soul contract. And I'm going to talk about the 11-2 energy because it's a very strong energy. There's a couple of very deep lessons in these numbers. We call them polarities. So some numbers in the soul contract system have very big learnings in them, and the 11-2 is just that. So the 11 is all about death to life and the transformation that comes from within. So often when people have an 11-2 in their chart, I ask them, okay, so what was your childhood like? And has there been any trauma in your family, in your life around big things happening? And usually there are very big things that happen in someone's life when they have an 11-2 energy. So it could be a big trauma that they've experienced, or it could be a death or a near death. It could be all sorts of things that create a big transformation in that person's life, and it can be a very traumatic number. So the 11-2, what we call them emotional processing units of the family. So often the 11-2 energy will jink its way down and land in someone's soul contract, and they will be the ones processing all this stuff from their parents and their parents' parents and their parents' parents. And so it really is the processing unit. So people with 11-2s can be very, very sensitive, and this really goes hand in hand with the 2 energy, which is very bouncing up and down. So the 2 energy is all about learning emotional resiliency from the trauma that you experience with the 11, which is so transformational in your life. And what this energy is all about is learning to let go of old family patterns and behaviours and imprints and dysfunctions, and to come into your own emotional resiliency through the letting go process, so you can stand on your own 2 feet and find real grounding and real wisdom from the decisions that you make in your life. So the lesson in the energy of the 2 is called foolishness to wisdom, which I know sounds a bit harsh. You're such a fool, but it's not that at all. It's all about learning from your mistakes, as it were, even though there are no such thing as mistakes. What happens is the 2 energy makes a decision from a place of impulsiveness, and it says, oh, I'm going to do that. And then it realizes with hindsight and perspective, not such a great idea, and it learns through the wisdom of that experience. Then it comes down and it makes another foolish decision, and then it gains that perspective. So the 2 energy is all about learning perspective, and it's a very nurturing energy. People with 11-2s can be so loving, and you'll often find that they are in a very caring or supportive role for people around them. Especially if they also have 8s in their charts. 8s really want to look after people and look after them. Although caveat, they also want to stay away from people. It's a really interesting energy, the 8s. I've got 8s. It's a real interesting one. And then that plays with the 7s. The 7s are all about communicating with people but being shy. So you can see how soul contract reading, it's not just, the numbers never work in isolation. They always work with the other numbers in the soul contract to tell a very rich story of your life and your soul's experiences and the challenges it's here to face in its lifetime. So the 11-2 energy is all about learning to depend on yourself, learning to stand on your own 2 feet and to know that you can do it on your own. You do not need to depend on anyone else, even though that is much often the easier thing for an 11-2 to do. I can't do it by myself, so I'll make sure I have support and help all the time. You're here to learn you can do it on yourself. You're here to let things go, let the past go, let go of the version of yourself that you no longer are through the transformations and the experiences that you've been through. You're here to hold space for others with that lovely 2 energy. You're here to buffer people and bring them into a very nourishing, nurturing aura and look after them. And you're here to learn emotional resiliency and wisdom. And that is the lesson of the 11-2s. And we really do recommend a lot of lovely deep healing work for these frequencies, because they're very strong and there can be a lot of trauma in the chart. So if you've got an 11-2, take your time with the healing process, and a lot of grounding, because there'll be a lot of movement in your life, a lot of ups and downs, and you're really here to find stability, grounding and balance and resiliency, which is exactly what I help people with in the work that I do. So I put all my links below. Please do subscribe, keep in touch. I post videos like this every week talking about the soul contract energies and other spiritual and emotional guidance kind of things, and I love to help people find that emotional resiliency in their life through deep transformative healing, so they can find more balance, trust, joy and ease in their life. And until next time, I wish you a very beautiful rest of your day.